I would like to introduce the speaker for today, who is Mr. Dipayan Sarkar. And Dipayan comes with a 20 plus years of industry experience and has served Fortune 10 companies across many countries. He founded Algorithma Labs, which operates based out of Pune and Singapore. His company works in data science space with business organizations and educational institutions as well. The Dipayan has backed the international challenges on predictive modeling title and has authored books on machine learning and deep learning. He mentors and conducts data science, ML, and AI workshops in various countries. And without any further delay, I'd like to hand over the session to the Dipayan.
Thank you, Sushil. Welcome, everybody. So today we will be talking about natural language processing. In today's world, it has become very, very important, given the kind of data we have. We have tweets, we have Facebook posts, we have news, we have articles across the web, and it has become imperative that our computer systems understand this unstructured data. In other words, we are trying to make computers understand what you and me speak, right? So welcome to this webinar. This is Dipayan Sarkar. I represent Algorithma Lab as a data scientist here. So have you ever realized you receive a lot many emails every day, and whether it is Google or Microsoft email or whatever the email servers are, they readily pick up all the spam emails and put them into the spam folder. But how do they really do it? Or even you're typing something on your mobile and it predicts what is the next word you are likely to use. So, and it shows you the predicted word. Talk about Siri, Google Home, Alexa. You are basically controlling all your gadgets. You are instructing the devices by your voice, asking them to switch off the light. How is the weather looking like tomorrow? And so on. Chatbots. You visit any websites today? Well, they might not be working 100% accurately, but they do offer some kind of responses to you, even when the world is sleeping, right? You're typing something, and there are solutions like Grammarly, which tells you a better word that you can use when you're writing a letter or an article or a story. It checks within few seconds whether your article is plagiarized or not. And it does it in minutes, not hours. Smart Compose, when you type something in Google and you are typing something, it predicts not just the next word. It suggests you the complete remaining sentence that you might like to consider. You simply press a tab and you move on. Information extraction. In today's world, when you have so much of information in textual data, how is it really you extract this information? You are performing sentiment analysis. When there is a product launch or when there is a tweet about a product, about an event, you go to Twitter, you can really extract the tweets and talk about the human sentiments regarding the product or the events. Question answering, again, Google, Siri, simply ask them, they answer it for you. Translate, Google Translate. You go and type something, you ask it to change in your language, it translates it for you. And this list is actually endless if you see. But how all of these are working? So what is this natural language processing? All of these use natural language processing. But what is this natural language processing? Well, I would say the bigger umbrella is artificial intelligence. Under artificial intelligence, we have something called natural language processing. Again, full of jargons. What is this artificial intelligence? If I have to say it in a single line, it's simplistically speaking, it's a computer performing tasks which you and me can do. And that's what AI is. In other words, you are making a computer do what you and me can do. And that's AI. And under AI, majorly you have two components. One is the computer vision, where you make computers see. And the other one is you make computer read and write and speak. And that reading, writing, and speaking is something what natural language processing covers for us. It deals with the text data. Like when you are talking, you are actually using textual information, isn't it? When you are reading something, you are reading some text data. You are writing something, it's text data, right? And that's what NLP does for us. And I've just taken a marketing domain. Of course, NLP can be used in any industry for that matter, wherever text related materials are there. And talk of any industry, where is text not there today, right? And if I talk of a marketing domain, NLP can be used to copyright or to create your ad. It sounds very odd. Why will I need computer create my ad? I will come to a beautiful case study here. See this case study. It was published in Harvard Business Review a few months back. And you know what? There was a dealer who used to sell Harley Davidson bikes, and he used an AI tool which suggested that an ad which the dealer was putting on a social media be changed. And the ad used to go like this: don't miss out a pre-owned Harley with a great price, buy now. And the AI tool suggested replace the word buy and put call now. And you know what? The sales increased by 447%. The leads increased by 2930%. Imagine what is the percentage of growth by one single word. So what did this AI do? It actually crawled through all the Twitter tweets and the Instagram posts and the Facebook posts. It kept a watch on what these ads are doing, how people are reacting to these ads. Are people liking the ads? Are they commenting on the ads? Are people sharing the ads? What kind of emoticons they're opting for, and all of this. And after a study, it has suggested keep the ad same, just replace the word buy now with call now. And that's the AI advantage. And at the back, it is NLP. Chatbots for capturing leads. Yes, I agree. Chatbots are not very fine today. If I ask something, probably it is automatically giving some answers, giving answers to some questions, but it can't do beyond a certain limit. I agree. But put yourself into the organization side. If the chatbot, at least when others are sleeping, can talk to you in any part of the world, capture your name, capture your information, capture your need, it is actually creating a lead. It can very well pass the lead to the marketing team to take action next day morning. And that's what chatbots can do. Sentiment analysis. One, sentiment analysis on textual data is having numerous case studies. It includes brand monitoring, how your brand is doing, how people are reacting to the brand, what people is talking about the brand. Competitive research, you can apply this very same thing on your competition, your competitive products. It can do product analysis. iPhone is launched, people are saying, oh, this is the same, no difference than the iPhone 12, this iPhone 13 is more or less same. And you can do this kind of analysis on the products. what people are talking about, how they are talking, what they are reacting. You might be able to change your ads perception based on the perceptions people are having. And those kind of analysis can be done using sentiment analysis. There are various tools like sentiment analyzer. You type something, it can tell you whether it's a positive sentiment or a negative sentiment. Let me take you there. You see this website. There's a monkey learn, and you type here something. I have passed the exam with great marks, and it says classify the text, and it says it's a neutral 52% confidence level. So what it is able to do is it is able to take some text from you. It is able to tell whether it has a positive sentiment, whether it is a negative sentiment, whether it is a neutral sentiment. If you say the new product is useless, classify the text. It says it's a negative sentence, 99.8% confidence, it is negative. You say the product is awesome and is of great use, classify the text. Well, it's taking a bit of time, but otherwise it would have said it's positive. Let me just refresh this page and see. Yeah, it says positive, right? So that's how this sentiment analysis can work, and you can integrate this kind of solutions with their applications in any organization, right? So let me go back to my slides here, and this is what your sentiment analyzer can do for you. Voice search, it is gaining wider acceptance. You will be surprised to know that currently 65% of 25 to 49 years old speak to their smart devices at least once a day. And realize, imagine if you and me are talking to the smart devices, not just that the smart devices are acting on it, but service providers like Google and Facebook, etc., they need to know what you are talking to, what you are talking about. If I'm asking Siri or Google or Alexa regarding a flight ticket, the system knows that I am likely to travel, which means it can send me more advertisements on probably hotels, right? So which means the systems getting to know the voice or understand the voice is becoming very important now. Automated summarization of information. Imagine like you come to the office tomorrow morning, and by that time the system automatically crawls all the information and gives you a summary information about your product or about a sales, or maybe about about competition products. You have all the information in a gist, but how will it do it? It is not about collecting information, it is about collecting, filtering, and giving you a summary of relevant information. Anybody can pick up hundreds of documents from the web, but that is not what I want. I want relevant information, only that information which I need, right? And that's what AI NLP can do for you. But how does it work actually? It takes the document, it needs to be given to the computer, which the computer can understand, right? But how? So NLP, very much like you and me, is having two components. One component is the understanding component, and the other one is generation component. If you think logically, when I am talking, you are listening. When you talk, I listen, or we are into conversation with each other. There is a part that helps you understand. And then there is a component that helps you talk. When you read something, there is a component that helps you understand what you are reading. And then when you write something, there is a component that helps you write. Same for NLP. There is a component that helps the system understand. And then there is a component that helps the system generate. The understand component can help in listening and understanding, can help in reading and understanding. And the NLG can help you write what you understand, can help you talk whatever you have to respond. Understanding and generation. This understanding basically it parses and analyzes the text using basic grammar rules. So when I am talking to you, you are able to understand. How is it? How is it happening? Because you are able to understand the basic grammar rule, right? And that's how you are understanding the things. And then there is a semantic analysis, which focuses on the capturing the meaning of text through combination and context. For example, if I say David is riding the boat against the current, here you know that the current is the flow of the water, right? But if I say the current version of the document is in this folder, you will say, oh, this current version is the latest version of the document. The word current has two different meanings in two different contexts, and the computers have to understand that, right? So the semantic analysis focuses on capturing the meaning of the word current through combination and the context, and that's what NLP can do for you. NLG is basically how you generate the text. It generates the texts and the sentences by planning. It formulates the content by considering punctuations, pronouns, conjunctions, paragraphs, and it ensures grammar rules. If I tell you a sentence like, let's eat grandma, what would you understand? Let's eat grandma. Meaning, oh, come, let's eat up grandma. No, you're not going to eat your grandma, right? But if I say, let's eat, comma, grandma, it's basically I'm addressing grandma to come and eat with us, right? So that comma can give a different meaning altogether to the sentence. And that's what this NLG can do for you. But this, technically speaking, this NLP has a pipeline. It has to process the data. Well, there are a lot of complexities in this. Systems are not very simple. But in order to get a brief idea about how computers are actually processing the text data, there are certain processes in this pipeline, which we call it as segmentation, tokenization, stop words, and a lot of jargons. And I have simplified this for you. If you see, it's very, very simple. Segmentation is nothing but taking the text and breaking them into paragraphs based on the punctuations, right? So I say government expenditure on education in Singapore is reported at 2.5% of total GDP, blah, blah, blah. And it has broken this into two segments, you see. And that's segmentation. What is tokenization? Now it will take each of these para and break them into words. And that's tokenization. And then it uses stop words, meaning it removes the unnecessary or frequently used words. For example, was, in, at. I don't know if you have realized when you type something in Google to search, it actually doesn't consider these stop words, in, at, was, etc. Yeah. And then there is something called stemming and lemmatization, meaning it takes the words into its base form, like went, going, go, gun are actually from the word go. So it stems the words, lemmatizes the words, and brings them into its base form. And then it does a speech tagging. Speech tagging is part of speech tagging, meaning it says, like, I will visit the Himalayas. It will be able to identify that I is a pronoun, will is a verb, visit is a verb, Himalayan is the noun, and so on, right? And then it also has a named entity recognition feature where it can identify which is the name of a person, which is the name of a company, which is the name of a street, which is the name of a product, and so on. All combine this, actually your textual data gets prepared and processed for the computer to understand, based on which you can apply certain algorithms and do a lot of other functionalities. But this is a kind of base thing. Now, there are something called language models. What are these models basically? These models are actually those that can work for you to write some text, to predict something, to generate a response, or even to perform your sentiment analysis and so on. Now, these language models are basically machine learning algorithms that can help you recognize, predict, and generate human languages, right? And there is something called large language model. It is nothing but the same as language model, which is able to write some text or speak to you or perform sentiment analysis or do language translation. And this large language model is a large language model when it is trained on a very large voluminous of data. And why we are talking about large language models? Language model is also based on NLP. Large language model is also based on NLP. Why are we talking about large language models? Because in the recent trend, there are companies which are working on large language models, and they say that why do you build all these models again and again and again and again? Instead, we are collecting all the world's material and we are building these large language models, which we will keep on evolving and keep on growing as the world grows with your textual data. Because more and more articles are written, more and more journals are written, more and more tweets are made, Facebook posts are coming up. So these models have to crawl through all of this new data and then build these large language models. And who can afford it? You and me? Oh no. So we need companies who can afford to do that, right? And we have some companies like this. So if you see on my chart, we are talking about Megatron Turing NLG, which is one of the best now among the large language model. It is developed by Microsoft and NVIDIA together. Next one is the GPT-3. Why I am talking about next? Because it has 175 billion parameters, whereas the Microsoft Megatron is having 530 billion parameters. I love GPT-3 because I have never seen Megatron Turing because Microsoft has not released it for public use. And there is another reason for GPT-3 to be famous, because it is coming from a company called OpenAI. And OpenAI is more known by its co-founder, Elon Musk. So OpenAI is co-founded by Elon Musk, and OpenAI has built this GPT-3. And not only this GPT-3 is available for public use and it can do wonderful things for you. They have exposed it as a playground. Let me take you to the screen and show you what this GPT-3 can do for you. I hope you can see my screen. And this is the playground GPT-3. And say, I want to write something here, but please note, this is not me who is writing. This is the GPT-3, which is a large language model from OpenAI, co-founded by Elon Musk. So if it writes anything, it is not an expression from KnowledgeHut or Algoritmo or Dipayan Sarkar. Okay, it is of its own, and how it is doing is it is crawling through the web, understanding the materials that are available on the web, and based on that, it is actually generating the texts. So if I say write a poem on maybe Donald Trump, right? And I will say Donald Trump, and I say, okay, submit. You have reached the usage limit. So let me just try to log in from another URL. Okay, so I say write a poem on Donald Trump, and I submit, and here is what he writes. He's a man with an orange face and a comb over that's in a need of trim. He's the president. He was the president of US, and he's really not all that great. He's got small hands and a big mouth. Blah 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 blah. Again, this is not our something which we would like to express. This is a poem written by GPT-3. And if you want to write something else, maybe on Putin, and here it will write a poem on Putin, and you ask anything to be written, right? You can take our oil and gas in, you can take our land, you can take our freedom and dignity, but you will never take our soul. So this is the poem it is writing. How is it writing? This poem is not available anywhere. Nowhere it is available. And every time you ask GPT to write a poem on Putin, it will write a new poem for you. Awesome. And it's not plagiarized. You ask it to write an article, write an article on maybe a linear regression, or if you are from technical background, and it will probably be writing something for you, and it's not plagiarized. I know what Sushil is thinking by now. Okay, right? So beautiful. It's awesomely powerful. So let me go back to the presentation, and here is what the GPT-3 can do for you. But is it all good? Is it all good? Unfortunately not. Let me share with you. There are challenges with this kind of large language models. See the news on my screen from MIT. A college kid's fake AI generated blog fooled tens of thousands, and this is how he made it. There was an article on it, and if you can read the next line on that, it was super easy actually, he says, which was the scary part. And you have seen how super easy it is. If you want to create blogs for your websites, you just go and write. Some kids wanting to write an essay can go and write. Use these tools. So it's being misused. AI powered misinformation manipulation at scale. OpenAI's latest breakthrough is astonishingly powerful, but still fighting its own flaws. People have started misusing it. And you know what? It can generate fake emails, and solutions which are there to capture fake emails are failing drastically. The solutions are not able to figure out that these emails were written by machine. It's so beautifully crafted and drafted that it's beyond compare. Systems are failing to identify that those emails were actually generated by large language models. And that brings us to the topic of ethical use of data and NLP. Few years back, Amazon actually used machine learning model, AI, and this kind of NLP to score resumes, because Amazon keeps on getting thousands and thousands of resumes for job purpose, right? And they also need a lot of people. So what they did was they built a model to score the resumes. But what that model did, it was able to understand those resumes and say, oh, these resumes were from women, female counterparts, and it was actually giving low score, downgrading those resumes which came from female. And these news were everywhere: Reuters, BBC, CNN, New York Times, Harvard, MIT, Carnegie Mellon, everywhere. And all of these had this kind of headings in the news. Amazon scrapped sexist AI tool. NY Times or somebody said Amazon Scrap tool, which taught itself to be against talk against women, and all of these things came up. Amazon came to the media and said, we never ever used this tool. We did build it, but we never used it because usage of that tool would have been very unethical, isn't it? So we have all of these tools with us, but we should know when to use it, how to use it, when not to use it. That is more important, I believe. Thank you. That was NLP from our side.